I like it. I like it. Good job, Todd. Todd, our producer. So this segment here is the Whissel way. So Matt, as an agent on the Whissel team, what are some of the differences? Because you've been in real estate for a while and you came from a different probably offices and different groups. So you have a different experience.
True.
But what's some of the, things you've noticed differently here on the Whissel team?
This is just a professional organization. And we tend to think of real estate brokerages as all being professional, but as Prentice here knows, they're not all equal, right? And it's the amount of effort, the standards that are put in place, and the amount of training that goes into that really makes the difference in the quality that our customers deal with Whissel compared to some other places. That's what brought me here in the first place.
Right, because most real estate offices, everybody's an independent agent. They all kind of work on their own. They kind of do their own deals. They might go to maybe a monthly meeting, and they just kind of listen to what's going on, and that's it. But there's training, not weekly, monthly. I mean daily training stuff that you guys are able to plug in, learn, and get better. So talk about some of that different training that you guys do daily.
Yeah, so we kick off every morning with the same routine, which is an accountability morning group call, right? So 8 o'clock, 8:15, we're on the phone. We're talking about our goals for the week, our plans, how things have panned out, and what we intend to do for the week to get them where we want to go. And then immediately after that huddle's over, we're jumping into role plays on the phone so we can learn how to, or better, or just keep our skills sharper, but to deal with overcoming objections and helping people help themselves. And we'll do that, Jason, twice a day. So we'll do that once as soon as our morning roll call's over, and then again a few hours later after we've had phone calls, just to get back into the mindset again before we go on appointments for the rest of the day.
Right, so it's teaching you accountability with that roll call, right? Hey, I'm here. I'm ready to get to work. I'm going to get this, here's kind of the goals and things I want to do for the day. Then you were going to role play and how you're going to handle those calls and what objections and things may happen during that call.
Exactly.
And so when you're role playing with another agent on the team and or even listening to role play, right, it helps prepare you for your day. So when someone says, well, I don't think right now is the best time to sell here in the summer of 2019, hey, we actually talked about that. Let me share with you some of the reasons why you maybe haven't thought of it this way or that way.
Right.
Right. And that comes with role playing. And even Prentice as a detailer, you were talking about role playing. You guys do that.
Yeah, we did that just a Monday night. We had a webinar, and we had about 20 detailers on there. And we were doing, we call it ring, 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 and you just go through the whole thing and listen to all the objections. And anybody listening who's in any kind of service industry, you've got to role play. You've got to get used to. And it's not about deceiving people. It's about being able to respond to the typical objections that come up, and instead of just falling flat-footed and hanging up the phone.
Yeah, everybody, like you said, if you're in a service industry, you're going to get certain objections, certain questions. Mm-hmm. And if you haven't thought about how to respond to that and or how somebody thinks of it differently than we do, right? In my mindset, when I say this, I'm thinking I'm communicating this. Well, working with Kyle's like, well, you said that, but here's how
Here's how it came across.
And here's how my client took it. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah,
and it's great to listen to other people's approaches too, because you hear these gems that come out of nowhere, mm-hmm. And it could be one little statement that somebody says that changes your whole outgoing phone call kind of thing.
Right, and although you may think that's normal, not everybody does that in any sales profession, but in
they'll
real
do
estate,
it once a year.
Yeah, real estate really doesn't. Everybody works so independently. And that's what's really unique about the Whissel team and Matt Huneycutt here on the Whissel team. Some of the things that Matt's doing on a daily basis, coming from another real estate brokerage into the Whissel team, you've learned that. So what are some of the nuggets that you can share with us that just over maybe the last, few months that you were like, wow, that was good during that role play, whether it's a call you heard, something that you participated in personally, share with us anything?
I'll tell you, Jason, what's been really eye-opening is to see the types of conversations and what things work. Because when we go out and we try different expressions and we try different listening methods and we try different approaches, it's all good to hypothesize what would work, but it's at the end of the week when everyone comes back with the data and says, hey, I tried this or I tried that, and it either worked or it didn't. And we can take the consensus of those results and we can analyze that and say, well, why did that really work? And explore it further. And what we're doing over time, Jason, is we're building data to better understand and communicate with people.
And that's because you're doing it daily and weekly.
Exactly.
Instead of doing it once a year, like you said, a lot of agents, do it.
Precisely.
And that data point, I think a lot of us haven't really thought about, but you're continuing to build and get better.
Right.
And learn from your, wins and your losses.
Right. And and a lot of folks, they look at role playing in these conversations like, oh, you're just trying to learn how to coerce people and convince people and kind of trick them into stuff. But no, all the role play does is allow us to more effectively understand and relay information to help people help themselves get to that next step. Because for a lot, and this, Jason, you see it all the time. The numbers, especially in your end of the business, the numbers are very clear. But sometimes people will stand in their own way from the results that are best for them. And so with these role play strategies that we use, Prentice, the same thing for you, we can get people out of their own way to help them make the better decisions by communicating better.
Well, and Matt, it sounds also like you're working with other agents in a cooperative way, and
yes,
and this is one of the things that's happened in the detail industry too. Is we as detailers used to be, we'd put our wall up when we saw another detailer. Well, I'm not
right.
going to talk to you, but now we're talking to each other, and we spend time talking about these very issues. What do you do when you get this kind of phone call and the person's asking you for a price and they don't like the price? So it's great to have a network of people to be able to discuss these things with, so
right.
you can come up with a better approach.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's all about learning, right?
That's
Consistently learning each and every day and getting better. And I think one of the things that you hit on during your segment, Prentice, is that you're still learning. Although you've done this 25 years, you're a master detailer, you're a trainer with the IDA, certified IDA trainer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're still learning.
Yeah, I go to seminars and other people's training. I've spent thousands of dollars going to other experts' training, the training that I could easily provide. But I learned so much being in that environment from somebody else's perspective. And where else I learn a lot? From when I'm training other people, like at a dealership, I'm working with 10, 20 guys over a course of 5 days, to helping them understand detailing better. I learn stuff from them. So you got to keep your ears and your eyes open.
Always.
Yeah, being a great listener. I think that's some of the key with role playing.
It's everything. It's 99% of the strategy.
Even if you're not the one participating, I know a lot of role plays, it's one agent, one buyer, one seller, and they kind of go through a walkthrough. But if you're just listening, a lot of times you'll pick up more listening to how they're reacting, how they're doing, and you'll be like, oh, I didn't think about it that way.
Absolutely.
Or, oh, that was something different.
Yeah.
Right. And you're just in a different mindset, because
Exactly.
I think when you're speaking like I am right now, I want to get out a clear image. And so I'm not completely listening and engaged.
Right. It's hard to do both of those things at the same time. Express a thought and then also take in information.
If you haven't practiced it.
Right.
Right. And the more you practice, the better you get.
Yeah.
I'm still learning. 5 years on the radio here with Kyle. Still learning. And that's the thing, Kyle. Kyle's one of the biggest students in the industry nationwide. Not only does he speak nationwide, he's always going to conferences to get better, connect. And when we go to a conference, he doesn't allow me to eat lunch or dinner with them. He's like, you got to find somebody and go connect with them, learn
Create
from
your
them,
network.
Create a network, learn from stuff. He goes, you and I can have lunch anytime in San Diego. And so that's kind of a great lesson.
And then what does he do? After those conferences, he comes right back to home base and he shares everything with us. Guys, this is what I picked up this week. This is this new thing I'm hot on. And then he does a teach back to the team.
Right, so he's always learning, always adjusting, always getting better, versus just doing the same thing.
That's it.
That might have worked 25 years ago for me or Prentice in our businesses. If we're still doing the same thing we did 25 years ago, we'll probably be out of business, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think you really, no matter what industry you're in, you really got to get out there and go to those conferences. I travel to several conferences every year: Mobile Tech Expo, NADA, National Automotive Dealers Association, International Car Wash Association, Southwest Car Wash. It goes on and on. But going there, you meet different people, you learn different things, you get charged up again.
Yeah.
Watching keynote speakers is fabulous. You might take one thing away from that, but it really makes a difference.
Wow. Well, what are some other good objection handlers that you've learned recently? I don't put you on the spot.
No, it's
but
okay.
2 minutes.
What are some of the things we can kind of wrap the show up today?
Well, the typical ones that we get, Jason, are, we're coming up on an election year. We know that's always weird for markets, for economies, and things like that. So we've also been running in this bull market for a very long time. So a lot of people are fearful of, hey, is that crash thing going to happen again?
Right.
And so a lot of my conversations, because as you know, Jason, I represent a lot of buyers, especially these young first-time buyers.
Yeah.
And having to assure them that things will be okay, because we are buying a home for a long period of time. We're not trading homes,
Yeah, you're not buying it today and selling it next week.
Exactly.
Like a short-term trade.
Right. So the objections there are the objections to overcome there are that, there's a certain amount of fear, and investing does bring a certain amount of risk, right? But we go through all the steps of how to mitigate those risk factors. We look at all the data that's out there about what our economic outlook is, right? Interest rates, affordability, and things like that. And then we just completely demystify all of that and bring all that information forward, and then those customers can really step into that arena with all the lights on, knowing exactly what's going to happen, and then having a few strategies for no matter what happens with the market.
Well said, well said. That's Matt Huneycutt on the Whissel Realty team. This is a text line, goes directly to Kyle Whissel. He can put you in touch with Matt, 619-663-SELL, 619-663-7355. It's been a live line we've had for 5 years. Kyle loves any feedback that you want to provide that you've had on the show. Please use that. Also, our detailer in progress, my guru detail go-to, Prentice St. Clair. You can reach him, 619-701-1100. Again, this is the Whissel Weekends and weekend versus the weekends. I guess Saturday, Sunday sounds like weekends to me.
Yeah.
And our Whissel Way podcast that we wrap up the show with every single week. Again, thank you for listening, tuning in, watching us on Facebook Live, listening to us on the radio, AM 1170 The Answer, and or 96.1 in the North County FM. That's another way to see us.
Boom.
Again, thank you both, Prentice, Mr. Matt, Todd, our producer, Mr. Tom, the videographer, runs everything for us. Thank you, guys. We'll see you guys next week.
See ya.